hot days start with cold things. This is bloody fantastic. 30 degrees Celsius. Melton. This is Melton. Espresso soft serve. Who'd thought? Who'd have thought? Good find, Ellie. Good find. It's melted so quick. Do you want to sip? Brilliant. That's who again. Up there. Top of the walkie-talkie man. I've realised I need to change my perspective on London. And I don't mean London as a city, but I mean the way that I explore it. So today, we're doing things slightly different, and we're trying to emulate in the same way that when we're travelling, the way we explore cities and experience things.
Makes your head do this.
You see, when we travel, we quite often find specific buildings or viewpoints or things that we want to explore, and then we sort of go beyond that. We just have this natural curiosity of exploring, and the day-to-day just flows by. You have to eat, you have to drink, whatever. But when you're in London, that's very difficult, and that's potentially a discussion for another day or for a podcast or something of being inspired in your home city. But for the most part, some of the things that kind of hold you back are the fact that you know the city, you know the areas, you feel like you're just commuting when you come in. So what we're doing today is we're trying to force ourselves to look from the perspective of a traveller in your home city. So we are going for lunch up the top of the walkie-talkie, which is the Sky Garden. You have to book. You can book to just go up the Sky Garden, it's free to go up. Or you can book for a restaurant, and that gives you access to the Sky Garden as well. I only booked it last night, so we're just gonna go up and see. Otherwise it was fully booked, and I believe that might even be the case for non-COVID times as well. I think it's always a pretty busy thing, but you should get good views across the city. Of course, the other thing to note is when you're in your home city, when it comes to things like food and drink, a lot of the time you think, you know what, I'm just gonna head home and cook at home. Whereas when you're out traveling, you quite often don't really have much of a choice. You're forced to eat out, and you explore and you experience different things. So there is a bit of a mental shift happening, and it's all a psychological barrier, but we're gonna try and fit in some travel vibes. So looking forward to this lunch. We're gonna head up, and then I think I've got some further thoughts that I'll share afterwards. Let's hope they don't mind bringing a camera in. I'm gonna take the microphone off because that's usually the first thing that people are like, ooh, what's this? Scared about that. So yeah, London can be a little bit funny about things like that. So lunch was pretty great at the top of the Sky Garden. Of course, with it being a garden and a glass building, it is the equivalent feeling of spending all day in a greenhouse. So that glass just amplifies the heat, and we are having some of the hottest weather in London right now. But you know what? I kind of loving it. Kind of loving the bright blue skies, the bright weather. It does get pretty sticky, but it's just a far sight brighter. Anyway, so I spent a little while getting some images around there. I was taking some shots on the X-T4. I think I'm actually going to be editing these with the RAW just because there was some pretty intense lighting. There's a lot of reflections, and I'm going to be editing them a little bit further. So I don't think I'm necessarily going to be posting them as the straight up JPEGs that I've been doing in previous recent videos. But anyway, it was pretty good. I did also get a few images on the R5 that I'm vlogging with now. And this is the first time in pretty much a year of owning it that it has actually shown the overheating warning a little bit. I think given the fact that the temperature was so high up there anyway, and switching between taking quite a few photos and video, Ellie was using the X-T4, and then I sometimes shot images with the X-T4. And yeah, there was just a moment where it started to flash with the red on photos, but I was still able to take video. So I don't know, the whole time that I've had this R5, it still works. It fits in my needs pretty much perfectly. So the overheating's never really been a worry, and even now it's not really a worry as I'm using it to vlog. So as I mentioned earlier, the main aim of today and why we booked to have our lunch and to go and explore a new building is because we want to treat this day similar to how we treat our travel days, which is where we generally are out shooting pretty much every single day of a trip. And sometimes we can go away for a trip for, you know, 8 weeks or a few months at a time, and we can be out all the time taking images and stuff. Whereas when we're in London, you know, obviously we live here, so we only really dedicate like a day a week or a day every couple of weeks or something like that. And so the pace of which that we're out and about is very different. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to force ourselves to think of coming out and taking images like it's a day at work, essentially, like bringing ourselves to work to go and get those images, get those clips, explore things, because we love making things. We're trying to, you know, maintain this momentum of building stuff, because as travel starts to open up, we hope that we can get back to making our regular stuff. 2020 was supposed to be our big year on doing a lot of things. Of course, we make a lot of Japan content, and Japan absolutely was the strategy, and with the Olympics and everything. So it was just kind of a massive shame that things happened the way that they did. And the end of 2019 with releasing Made in Japan as a film, and everything was just all on the upward trend, only for it to come crashing down. So it was like a 6-7 year strategy that just fell flat on its face. So I think that's where things have kind of taken a weird sort of psychological twist and turn over the last year. But, you know, we're hoping to continue to build our momentum again, as I keep mentioning in multiple videos, but I think you're getting the picture now. So yeah, everything is kind of moving forwards, and the Olympics in particular, the opening ceremony, for context of when this is being filmed, the opening ceremony is actually tomorrow. It's an odd feeling because I love the Olympics traditionally, like so much, on the sporting level, on the cultural level. Of course, there are also some areas that are a little bit shady and corrupt in some areas, but I won't necessarily touch on that, because I think the real root of it, the sport of it, the athleticism, I love so much. And it's hard to be excited about it this year. So yeah, there's that to look forward to. We've got plenty of other sort of plans and things. There's a few projects in the works, and yeah, just a few things that we're maximizing this summer and working towards a big autumn sort of power of things. Autumn is always my favorite season for producing videos and making things. It's also the most watched season, so it kind of all falls into its good vibe, I'm hoping. For other ideas on future things in London, we're actually kind of interested in a lot more rooftop things. So London is definitely having more rooftop bars and rooftop viewpoints opening up. There's a hell of a lot more skyscrapers around than there was 10, 15 years ago. And I've got some old images that I took when I first came to London as a kid, which was about 20 odd years ago now. And the difference in the skyline is vast. So I'm keen to explore some more rooftop bars, and if you've got suggestions of those, leave them in the comments, and we may go and visit them in future vlogs. In fact, on a future one I may actually go up the Shard. I've only ever been that once, and it'd be interesting to do that now with these cameras and see what we can get. So what's the plan?
Well, just thinking, we always want to drink. We always end up in South Bank. So just thought it might be nice to go home, have a little wander and go see some bridges and see if we can catch a good sunset, because it's great weather and I think I'm predicting it's a good sunset. Maybe we'll see.
Nice weather report from the Met Office there. Yum, yum, yum. That's got a heft. Oh, shout out to Korean Englishmen.
So excited.
2 banging meals in one day. What are we like? Are we travelling? Alright, before it gets dark, I'm going to end this vlog here. I hope you've enjoyed the views and the scenes and our mini little travel excursion in London. And we'll catch you for another video sometime soon. Maybe with another rooftop. Alright, see you soon. Bye bye.